Well, hey, you guys. Okay, I have good news and I have bad news. So the bad news is that the costs for basic needs like groceries are at an all-time high, which you probably know. But the good news is that your ability to overcome this problem is also at an all-time high. So if you want to know what I mean by this, then stick around because today I'm sharing my top grocery shopping survival tips for you when food costs go up, which we've all experienced, and then your income just stays the same. Plus, at the end, I'll reveal how I fed my family of 5 last week for less than $100. So according to a recent study, Americans are spending more than 11% of their disposable income on food. And that's the highest that it's been since 1991, according to federal data. And if food is more expensive at the grocery store, then the cost of restaurants is going up too. Chick-fil-A, I see you. Obviously, this is a bummer, but like I mentioned earlier, we've never had as many tools as we have today to help us when the costs increase. Now, everything from budgeting apps to side hustle ideas to financial advisors to a personal finance class, we have so much, you guys. We have access to pretty amazing resources, but again, it can be daunting. So let's just go over 4 tools that you have and how you can take advantage of them. So the first tool that you have available to you is data. Now, this may sound really simple, but it's always helpful to know where you fall in comparison to other people in your demographic who share your same needs. So currently, the average household cost for groceries is $475 a month. And if that number sounds low to you, keep in mind that includes groceries, not just eating out. But getting your grocery spending in line first will help you determine how much disposable income that you're going to have to be able to spend on restaurants and takeout if you want to. The USDA Food Plans and Cost of Food Report gives a rough estimate of what you should spend on groceries depending on your demographic and financial goals. So here's their basic rundown. For singles, it's anywhere from $241 to $455. For couples, $596 to $945. And for a family of 4, ready for this, you guys? $969 to $1,578. So based on those numbers, you're probably wondering what you're currently spending on groceries and where you fall on the spectrum. Which brings me to tool number 2, a budget. If you've never created a monthly budget, let me be the first to tell you that this is a habit that I am in. And you guys, my family, we couldn't do without the budget because it helps you stay in control. My favorite budgeting app is called EveryDollar, and it makes it ridiculously easy to plan out all of your spending, and especially when it comes to groceries and other expenses. So here's what I recommend. First, open up your bank app or look at your most recent bank statement and add up how much you've spent on food during the last 3 months. And then divide that by 3 and you can get this rough estimate of, okay, on average, here's what we're spending per month. Now, you're gonna use that average number to create your first budget. You can have separate categories for food, like one item can be groceries, one can be eating out, or you can just combine it all together under food. I separate mine because I like to see the difference, but again, it's up to you. Now, if your average for the last 3 months was $757, see if you can do $700 in the budget. Because remember, all of that spending you were doing was without a budget and probably without some level of accountability. So this is one to say, okay, if I have a plan, can I stick to this? The third tool that we have is the internet. Listen, technology is not all bad, you guys, because Google and Pinterest can be your friends when it comes to getting creative for affordable meals. So here are a few of my personal favorite money-saving tips when it comes to grocery shopping. First, look at your pantry and your refrigerator. There are some stuff, you guys, in there that you can just use for dinner. Even like frozen waffles and be like, hey, we're having breakfast for dinner, right? I mean, you could do some leftovers if you have leftover, peppers and onions and some meat. Throw them together and do some fajitas and put some shredded cheese on top, and it can be a burrito bowl if you want to do it that way, right? So just get creative with what you have in your kitchen. Next is to change up where you shop. So your grocery store is a really big indicator on how much you are spending. So if you even just switch locations, this is a really big deal. If you go to Aldi or Trader Joe's, there are some inexpensive grocery stores like that you can get a full meal for your family for less than $20. And again, you might not love the scenery and all of it, which I understand, but it's not about all that, right? When you're trying to cut your grocery budget, go shop at inexpensive places. Next, buy generic. So get the Kroger brand pasta. Get the Publix cheese. Like, Do the things you have to do just to buy generic, because that will save you $1 or $2 per food item at times. Also, try a recipe from my grocery savings guide. I'll put a link below to get you inspired. That'll help you out too. All right, the fourth tool that you can lean on when it comes to saving money on groceries is hope. Listen, I know that sounds cheesy, but sometimes we just need a little perspective shift, right? So give yourself a little pep talk. Just think I'm with you in the grocery store. I'm going to say, listen, you are an adult. You can do this. You can figure out what to buy, and you can look for sales. You can make a plan. You can do this. We can't control the price of the food. We can't, but we can control where we go. We can control what we're cooking. We can control different things in this. And again, there's some tough calls in there, but you can do this. It's not gonna be forever, but for a season, if you have to pivot and be, on the cheaper side when it comes to food and groceries, you can do it. Just remember, pivot. Ross Geller, pivot. That's you. That may have to be you this season, and that's okay. I want you to see that you have options, you guys. You really, really do. When you feel locked into something, you sometimes can make really bad financial decisions. So look at options on what you're going to buy, on what you're going to make, on where you're going to shop. And again, the costs are going to fluctuate. They're going to go up and down. That's the reality of life. But hey, sometimes you have unexpected wins though. Like my magical $95 grocery bill just from last week. We were making, I was doing spaghetti one night. We did chili. I was doing stuff and I added up all the groceries. We got some bananas. We had to get bread and milk and a couple of things. But it was like a light week on groceries. And it was $95. And I was like, what? So sometimes you'll have those weeks and that's a win, which is fantastic. Now, if you really want to take control of your grocery spending, I need you to do two things right now. Go to everydollar.com, create your first budget. Then also try a no spend challenge for 1 month. So this is a tough one, but this is going to force you to eat in because a no spend challenge is just working on necessities in your life. So cook at home, save cash from going out, and see how much money you actually save because it's going to be a lot. Okay, you guys? So click the link on your screen to find out how to do this challenge, but it is so worth it. So remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.